You know, one day I'm gonna get this set up the way I want. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining me on another episode. I hope you're all doing well at home, but please don't bring out the pitchforks in case something tragic happens in between Sunday when I recorded this and Wednesday's upload. Something like Fujifilm discontinuing yet another film stock. Today we're going to be tagging along on a portrait session with a film photographer who specializes in portraiture on expired film. And yeah, you can't really see it, but I am talking with my hands. I kind of realized that if I just stay still and all proper, try to get that monotone voice going on, I just sound really robotic, so I'm trying to embrace that in this video. And yes, there will be jump cuts because I tend to get off topic, so trying to keep consistent with the theme of the video. Jose has been shooting film for 29 years and saying fuck it to safe results within that time. Alternative processes, film soups, purposely leaving your film out in the heat for days on end. If you can name it, he's probably done it just to see what the results would be. For this specific shoot, he will be using various film stocks, all expired to one degree or another, using a small sample of his camera collection. Originally, I wanted Jose to personally narrate this video with his thought process behind the shoot, along with his feedback on the images. But due to the current situation, we opted for a small interview towards the end via Skype. And yeah, while the video is new, the footage is from 3 years ago, so forgive us, but we forgot a lot of the specifics. But I don't think that really matters because Jose isn't about turning his process into a clinical trial, and he would in fact encourage people to experiment on their own instead of trying to follow the notes in this video. If you would like some tips though on how to shoot expired film, I do have two separate videos. One from 3 years ago, that's a little quick pace 6-minute one, and then a 30-minute really in-depth video that you can check out over here. Also a quick note, but the audio is a bit noisy when Jose talks film. At the time I was recording with a Nikon D5500 and had the autofocus turned on. And yeah, you know where this is going if you're a Nikon shooter, but I didn't realize how noisy the focus motor would be, and it was obviously picked up by the mic, so sorry. Still, I wanted to include the audio because he does get into details about his thought process behind these images, and I have seen interest in the comments for that type of content. So if you want to hear more details about this shoot, please stick around to the end for that interview. For now, just enjoy the video.
Shoot some Troix. The first one that we did was the Nikon FT2, which is a Nikon. A lot of people's like, what the hell? Same build as the F, same shutter. Surprisingly, this one syncs up at 1/25th for flash. But you know, unfortunately, it only goes to 1,000 like most cameras in those times. So since today I want to capture a little bit more dreamy light, that means I would have to go up on the shutter speed because I'm using a 1.4, and in order for me to achieve it, say like around 2.8 or maybe an F4, I would have to be up in 2,000, 3,000 shutter speed to kind of create a little softness in the background, kind of hide some of that stuff, but yeah, I don't want to hide it too much. I want to show detail in the background and kind of show where I'm at. So, and especially what she's wearing, it's all black. So the color really tends to, you know, bring her out. And black and white itself, she'll stand out big time. So we're gonna kind of play around with that.
And that is a Nikon F100 with a 50 D or?
And I set the meter to 200. So we're gonna meter off with this, and then of course the other one's gonna be from this.
It's iconic.
It's just, you know, bright sunny day. There's no need to shoot 400. I think if you kind of pull the film down to like 200 or 100, it kind of tends to really compress the grains when you're developing. You develop it at ISO 400, because if you're developing at 400, you're underexposing it, or if you were to shoot it at 800, you're underexposing. I'm sorry. Because you're compensating for low light. But since there's no low light, we can drop down to 200. And then what it tends to do is it makes it a little bit more brighter, because you're overexposing in the settings. I don't want the highlight on her chin. So, I mean, you pay attention to little details, and we're gonna have her chin go in towards her left-hand side shoulder. Go with your left-hand side on your chin. Good. And now it covers her chin, and she'll be correctly exposed instead of having a, you know, high spot in her face, and then kind of giving it a different contrast. Have you done that before?
Cool.
When you shoot ISO 400, when you develop it at home or you go to the lab, you tell them, I shot this at ISO 200, but I want to develop a normal speed. Or you just don't say nothing, and they'll develop it at normal speed. Unless you write ISO, whatever ISO you shot it in. But this is going to get processed normally at ISO 400, but it was shot at ISO 200. So that's overexposed. So, and it gives it a little bit more of a vibrant, more lighter, opposed to like real contrast. So, you know, this will give it a little bit more old school black and white type. And I kind of love the green, so it'll be a little bit more green here. So. That small little nickels and crannies of certain buildings or apartments or alleyways, little stuff like that will make a big difference. It depends how you frame it and how your settings are to make, you know, an exposure. And hopefully you guys like some of the pictures that get posted up when, you know, you guys see this.
That's still cool, right? I don't know. Don't answer, but thank you for sticking around to the end. As I said in the beginning, due to the current situation going on around the world, the following interview had to be done over Skype, and my webcam was acting up, so apologies, but the following will only be sound. Talking about a photo shoot that happened, 3 years ago?
Yeah. I mean, I still remember it, but I'm trying to like remember all the little bits and what I was thinking, around that time.
Did bringing 5 different cameras help you out on the shoot?
It always does, dude. I don't know why. It's just one. I don't think. You know what? I got in the habit to just use one, but there's times where, dude, I'm just dragging along so many of them because it's like, oh, wait a minute. I remember I brought this and I want to see how this is going to turn out. Dude, sometimes I'll drag the 4x5 and I don't shoot it. And it's like, dude, what did I bring in? And each camera is different, bro. It's like, they all have a different way of rendering. And I love that. I already know which one does what. And I always I want to bring it all the time with me. And, I like it. I mean, the most you'll see me is with like 2-3 cameras. That's the least, and the most product up to 6, 7 at times, if I get that crazy, if I don't take my meds.
Anything you want to say about these photos?
I know there's times that we want to shoot and all of them have to be like fire because, everybody thinks their shots are fire and, but I'll be the first one to say not all my shots are fire. There's at least, I would say 5 or 6 shots that, they're good. I'm not going to say they're fire, but they're good.
I think when you sent me the photos 3 years ago, whatever, you were really annoyed at how the color ones came out, or there was.
And my chemicals I remember were kind of, dude, I really exhaust the crap out of them, so it wasn't even fun, But I know I had problems with my chemicals, and maybe that was one of the downfalls on it. But going back to it, seeing it now, maybe I should have done a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not. Yeah, I can't complain. So, I mean, going through these pictures, there's some portraitures that are color, and I really dig them. Some of them are, of course, they're off, but I just love that. Like I said, I'm very. I don't really, push off the off things like, oh, it's not workable, it's grainy, it's not rendering correctly, the color palette is just horrible. I don't care. I like that, That's what I like. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Okay. So any closing thoughts for the video? Any advice for wannabe expired film shooters?
Wannabe expired film. I keep shooting it, dude. Keep buying if you can find it. If not, try to get some. Like Eris does a pretty good affordable film. You can buy 100-foot rolls of that stuff. Because I think expired film at that point was abundant, and I feel like if it's not for some reason, I don't know why. But find anything that you're able to shoot and see what your lighting relationship is when you're creating the scene, learning the lighting, knowing your film, what it does, its characteristics, and keep note of that stuff. That would help you in the long run. And don't be afraid to try new things. Go out and shoot your friends, your family, especially if you have kids, shoot them. The talk continued for another hour, and we continued to discuss modeling, the current pandemic, our beginnings in film, among a few other topics. As I'm trying to focus on videos at the moment, I'll only post it if there's enough interest. So if you'd like to let me know, we could do something like, let's say, get this video to 50 likes. Yeah, it seems doable. Like most people during this pandemic, we have discussed starting a podcast, but we'll leave it up to you if the interest is there. If you are seeing this video on Wednesday, then you should prepare for a new video on Friday or Saturday, so long as I don't binge watch some movies I've been putting off on watching. I'll be giving my first impressions on the Lomo Instant Wide camera, which I just recorded this past Friday, so it's going to be all new. Next week, I'm also going to be doing a What's in My Camera Bag for 2020,
as I switch over from this brevity bag to this new think tank. I've never had much interest in those types of videos personally, and nobody has ever asked me what I carried around for these videos, but that's what's in my schedule going into these newer videos that I'll soon be editing. Right now I only have about three re-edits to do, 2 at an abandoned water park and another doing BTS photography with a single camera lens setup. After that, it'll be all the content I shot years ago but never uploaded to YouTube. So if that interests you at all, make sure to hit that bell notification, since YouTube has, buried me, and it doesn't hurt to hit that like button or leave a comment below with, what you'd like to see from me, and maybe share the channel to someone you think might be interested. Though I'll settle for you just coming back for next week's upload. So yeah, until then, keep chasing that light.